Hey, ladies. Welcome to Black Women Making Money. Hope everybody is having a great Sunday. Hope you all are doing well today. As you're coming in, please hit the like button for me. Please hit the like button. And if you're listening to the replay, put replay in the chat. That way we are able to let YouTube know that you are enjoying the content on this channel. And if you have a comment with regards to being distracted and why you think everybody is trying to distract upwardly mobile Black women, I would definitely love to hear that. So, ladies, as you all are coming in, say hello to me. I'm glad to see everybody this evening on this satisfying Sunday. That's what we'll call it, a satisfying Sunday. So today's topic really is, just all of these distractions that are out here. I came up with this topic just because I felt like with the Ebony K. Williams thing and everything that is happening right now, especially when I did that session with her, and I'm like, this seems like a major distraction. That this whole MRS degree thing, it seems like something where she was trying to get some attention, right? And um, I listen to a lot of business podcasts, and one of the things that they talk about is the fact that attention is the new currency. Getting our attention is the new currency. But a part of what I am seeing is a little bit more sinister than that. So I have some things I want to discuss with you ladies tonight. I'm eventually going to open up the panel discussion. If anybody wants to come on, I'm going to give you a calculation of what distraction is costing you and your family at a minimum. And we're going to talk about some ways that you can get out of the distracted loop. So again, everybody, as you all are coming in, please hit the like button for me. Please hit the like button so that way YouTube will know that you are enjoying this content. So first thing I want to talk about is actually the cutest thing out there. So first of all, I'm going to say hello to Shar. First of all, saying yes, if you want exclusive content, bwmakingmoney.com. We have every Wednesday, Wealth Wednesday, I send out exclusive content and information to all of you who are on my email list. Also, once a month, we get together on Zoom and have a conversation from our point of view. So thank you, Shar, for that reminder. bwmakingmoney.com doesn't cost anything for you to be on the email list. Doesn't cost anything for you to be a part of the Zoom sessions. And I think that all of the ladies would agree who have been in the Zoom sessions that they are very worthwhile to attend and be a part of our network. So bwmakingmoney.com to be on our list. And Rana is in the house saying hello. Hello, you are absolutely on time, Rana. Just Being Nosy is in the house. Paige is here. Denise is here. Lady and Mauve is here. Hello, everybody. Don't forget to hit the like button. So I'm going to actually show you all something that I thought was the cutest thing. This is a kindergarten teacher who is teaching financial literacy. It's a little short that they have on here. I thought this was so cute. Let us see what this kindergarten teacher is actually doing with her children. Her name is Alara Paget.
Paget is her name. She does something special for her young kids, teaching them about financial literacy. Check it out.
Today, have your wallets out in 3, 2, 1. I said wallets, not crayons. Friends that had a class job, how much money are you getting? $10. Remember, after we get paid, we have to pay back or bills? Bills. How much is your rent? $2. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you. And giving bonuses to friends that scored advanced or mastery on their math tests. Got some money now. How y'all feeling?
I'm about to be broke.
That's how I feel every day.
Kindergarten teacher. Alaire Paget is her name. She does something special for her young kids, teaching them about financial literacy. Check it out.
What is today? Have your wallets out in 3, 2, 1. I said wallets, not crayons.
I love this teacher. First of all, she is letting all the kids know while it's not crayons, it is time to pay up, not to play, ladies, which could go into the distraction thing for today. I thought this was so cute that I really, just wanted to show it to you, ladies. We're going to play it again. I'm going to show you some other lessons in here. But I thought this was cute. You all let me know what you think of this teacher. I think that she is an example of the kind of teachers that we need in the classroom. I'm like, I don't know her, but based on this lesson, she looks like the kind of teacher we need in the classroom. I am in full agreement with pay this woman whatever she wants and needs in order to stay in the classroom to teach these kinds of lessons to our youth. She seems like an excellent teacher to me. I know we don't know anything about her based on this, but this is the kind of teaching that I definitely support, and I want my tax dollars to go to teachers that are teaching lessons like this. But we're going to continue listening to this again because I want to point some other things out. So shout out to Alaire Paget, who just may be my teacher of the year. Let's keep listening.
If they had a class job, how much money are you getting? $10. Remember, after we get paid, we have to pay.
One of the kids said debt. She said, after we get paid, what do we have to pay? And one of the kids said debt. I thought that was so cute. I thought they were going to say taxes, but they said she's going to say bills, right? Okay.
Pay back or bills? Bills. How much is your rent? $2.
Now that's cheap, right? The rent is $2. These days, people are getting $10 and paying $4 for rent, right?
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you.
Now she's collecting the money. She should teach them how to collect the money as well. She should teach them to be the landlord as well. I'm not saying she's not teaching them. This woman looks like teacher of the year. She probably is teaching them Monopoly. She's teaching them how to be on the other side. But look, I love this teacher and this exercise. Let's keep watching because we all should be teaching our kids how when payday happens, people should be giving us money. They should be giving us money. Let's keep listening.
Giving bonuses to friends that scored advanced or mastery on their math test.
Okay, so she's given bonuses to the children that scored advanced or mastery on their math test. That is similar to you getting an exceptional wage increase or you getting a bonus for something that you did, or you started a business and it's now starting to grow and spit off cash for you, etc. This is a great way to teach. And I know that it doesn't always happen in the real world, but it is a great way to teach. If you do exceptionally well on your studies or with certain, y'all know I'm always talking about technical skills, soft skills, and networking, you will get paid extra. That's what she's teaching here. She's not teaching it. I'm adding in that layer of it, but that's the basis of what she's teaching here.
Got some money now. How y'all feeling?
I'm about to be broke.
So now she asked, how you feeling? And the little kid said, I'm about to be broke. This is the cutest thing. I probably will keep this on my, well, shorts, you're not allowed to put in your watch later or anything like that, but I'm going to hang on to this video because every time I need a little sunshine when it comes to financial literacy, I'm going to pull up Alaire Paget. That is her name. This is this teacher's name, Alaire Paget. This is so adorable. So she asked everybody how they're feeling. The little kid said, I'm about to be broke. Now he knows how his mom and dad feels. Let's keep listening.
That's how I feel every day.
Kindergarten teacher.
So I absolutely love this. I absolutely thought that this was cute and adorable and in a way, close to realistic, right? So hey Samri, good to see you. Denise is saying, I love that. I heard a voice say, I'm about to be broke. Yes, the little kid said that. Lady of Mauve is in here. Uh, Cute, the little boy says he's about to be broke. Yes. And hey, Shar, hello, greetings, everybody. As you all are coming in, please hit the like button for me. Like the video. Share tonight's live stream, please. Share tonight's live stream because I am going to be talking a lot about why people are distracting us and how much a distraction, if you're letting these distractions get to you, how much they're going to cost you and your family, right? So whether you're single, whether you have kids, don't have kids, etc., it's going to cost you deep into the seven figures if you allow these distractions to distract you. And if all of us as upwardly mobile Black women allow these distractions to distract us, it's going to cost us billions of dollars a year. So we're going to talk about it. I'm going to break it down. I do want to remind everybody who is coming in, if you're not on my email list, you definitely want to be on my email list. Not only do we do exclusive content every Wednesday, I send you all interesting things that I think you should take a look at. And once a month, for free, we have our Zoom session where we talk about things that we don't talk about on YouTube. So that's coming up in a couple of weeks. If you want the invitation, bwmakingmoney.com. Again, bwmakingmoney.com. Okay, so let's talk about distractions, right? Let's talk about distractions because this year there have been a lot of distractions in Black America with upwardly mobile Black women. There's been a lot of people targeting upwardly mobile Black women. Some of the stories that I have on my list here is the Shirley Strawberry thing. Shirley Strawberry, an upwardly mobile Black woman marrying some guy, talking about Steve and Marjorie and all of this stuff. And yeah, utter distraction. Another distraction currently happening, Tyler Perry and the light bill, right? Black women, upwardly mobile Black women, we are being talked about and we are being targeted. Ladies, we're being talked about and we're being targeted. What else? What else is a distraction? Jeannie Mai and Jeezy, two more upwardly mobile people. Distraction. Distraction. Pure. Another. Something about Sexy Red. I don't know who this chick is except she's a rapper, but I've been seeing a lot about her. So, hey, Sexy Red is a distraction. Another distraction for the upwardly mobile swirler, Jody Turner Smith and her divorce. The swirlers are talking about it. The men are talking about it. Ha ha ha, she's getting a divorce. Look, we don't know these people. We don't know what's happening in their household or anything like that. But it's a distraction. You all put in the chat what other distractions are happening right now. I have more. Ebony K. Williams, pure distraction, right? Ebony is a pure distraction right now. First, there was Bus Driver Gate, which wasn't on Ebony. That was on Iyanla Van Zant. But who knows? Now, I think the two of them might have cooked that one up. They might have cooked that one up. You need attention. I need attention. Maybe if we pretend to be on opposite sides of this, we can both get attention. People weren't paying attention to Iyanla before that. They weren't. They weren't paying attention to Ebony before that. Not at all. But now, these people are getting attention, right? You mentioned Krishan and Blueface. Yeah. Like these people are sucking the attention out of us. I had no clue who they were until some some people that I follow on YouTube started mentioning them. Ebony seems like a pro troll now. Yeah, yeah. I think that Ebony, especially with the MRS degree, Ebony was trying to get some attention for her show. I said it. Jodie Turner and her husband are divorcing. Yes, pure distraction. Pure distraction. Lady Mav is saying, I took it as the students who scored advanced or mastery basically had higher education, MBA, PhD, so they would get paid extra. That's a good point. That is a great point. It was a great way to show them higher education does benefit. I didn't think about it like that, but I would agree with you. I think you could take it two different ways. I think either they get a higher degree or they get a certain um, technical skill. For example, if you got a certain cybersecurity or AI certifications or something like that. So yeah, Lady Amav, you're absolutely right. You're saying Ebony is a double agent. Donald Trump and the wars going on overseas. That was another thing that I had going right now. Now, what's happening with between Israel and Hamas and in American media, I'm looking at is distinguishing Hamas from Palestine. So that's a very interesting take on it. But this whole thing in the Middle East, let me tell you, I'm paying attention to it, but I can't do a damn thing about it. And if we, as upwardly mobile Black women, allow it to suck us in and distract us too much, unless you work for the Pentagon, unless you work for the State Department, I wouldn't let those people suck me in. Trump guilty of fraud charges. Yeah, another suck. Doesn't mean I'm not aware, doesn't mean I don't look at the headlines. There are certain things where I will actually read the articles, but everything else is a suck. Sukiana is another one. Yeah, I don't know how to spell her name either. But yeah, another time suck. Hey, True Mystique. Hey, how you doing? Other time sucks. Distractions from this year. Trans women saying that we don't gatekeep periods as biological women. Got upwardly mobile Black women all riled up. Riled up. Dumbest thing. Does that mean I think we should let things slide? No, but we gave, as upwardly mobile Black women, we gave a lot of attention to that. Let's not play, right? Danae and Derek Jackson. What's happening with them? Which I have my thoughts about Danae and Derek Jackson. I think they're in cahoots behind the scenes, but hey, that's me. Alleged, my opinion, right? But they are distracting. They are distracting. These people are working behind the scenes to distract upwardly mobile Black women. Halle Bailey, Little Mermaid, she came out. We were so happy for her. Now she's pregnant. Distraction. Fresh and Fit being demonetized. Distraction. Why do I care that Fresh and Fit are except to look and say, oh, that's interesting. But upwardly mobile Black women spent hours talking about Fresh and Fit being demonetized. Why? For what? What does that have to do with us getting an extra $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 in income into our houses? What does that have to do with us being able to buy homes, build our wealth, buy stocks, buy businesses? $78 trillion wealth transfer is about to happen, and people are dead set on distracting us. Dead set on distracting us. What other distractions have happened? Some woman named Ray Shonda is being evicted. She was married to another woman named LaCondra. I don't know these people. I don't know these people. Look, if it weren't for a couple of YouTubers that I follow to get just some basic gossip, I wouldn't know these people. I look at it for 10 minutes just to get the gist of what's happening, and then I'm out. But why are we spending 3, 4 hours talking about this Rayshonda and LaCondra and them being evicted? If Lord help me, from my understanding, Rayshonda, who was evicted and who has a child and is being evicted because she was giving her wife money to pay the rent, Rayshonda should have been on top of her financial game. That's the only lesson that upwardly mobile Black women should learn, whether you're married to a woman or a man. Keep your head on a swivel. That's the 2-minute lesson. Keep your head on a swivel. Watch everything. Watch over everything. If you're renting, look at the bills every once in a while to make sure that the rent is coming through. Look at your bank statement. Make sure that you see the rent payment coming out every month. If it's the mortgage, same thing. If you look over the course of 2 months and you don't see any rent being paid, any mortgage being paid, hey, what's up? You shouldn't go 11 months without having your head on a swivel in your house. I don't care if it is your husband, but that's a 2-minute lesson. They are trying to distract us. Individuals are trying to distract us, and these companies are trying to distract us as well. I don't know if Haley being pregnant is a hoax, but the recent pictures I've seen of her, she's wearing a lot of loose clothing. I didn't believe it when people first started saying it, but then they're showing more and more pictures of her. I haven't heard her come out and confirm it, but I'm not listening like that. I figure eventually, look, you can't hide a baby. You can't hide a baby. So eventually we're going to find out, right? Tory Lanez being sentenced to 10 years. Is that breaking news? Should we know that happened? Yes. Should we be on 3-hour live streams or 3 live streams an hour each talking about for an hour each with our 3 different content creators that we love talking about it? Hell no. What is Megan Thee Stallion going to do for you? What is Tory Lanez going to do for you? Nothing. Nothing. Tia Mowry, somebody else I wrote down. Tia Mowry. Another thing. It's okay for us to say, hey, she's getting divorced. Here are some of the lessons we can learn, blah, blah, blah. I saw a lot of crazy gender war stuff around the Tia Mowry situation that is still happening to this day. People are trying to suck the life out of that story. And it doesn't help you at all. It doesn't help me at all. Shirley Strawberry and her jelly. I said that in the beginning. Cautionary tale, yes. Cautionary tale, yes. Here's the thing, India. What warning signs during the courtship did she not see? What warning signs during the courtship did she either not see or did she choose to ignore? Because here's the thing. Do I think men show their what do you call it? They put on a front in the very beginning? Yes, absolutely. However, if you date a man long enough, eventually the cracks start to show. Very, very, very few times do they not show. Another one, Keke Palmer and Usher. Okay, Keke Palmer had a baby. Okay, she looked nice that evening. She went to see Usher. She was dancing with Usher. Then the boyfriend came out, which that could have been something staged behind the scenes too. The boyfriend on social media talking about you a wife or whatever was happening. Are you, but why am I consumed with this for hours and hours? So now when they say Black people over-index on social media, it's not like we're watching, things to level us up. It's not like we're watching, hey, here's the latest in Yahoo Finance with the stocks that's happening and what Jerome Powell is saying. Yeah, those of us who are here are hanging out with Diamond Dave, right? Diamond Dave does an excellent job. Erica Williams does an excellent job. However, you'd be lucky to have a couple hundred people in those live streams. Diamond Dave, I think, ranges what, 50 to 100 people? This live stream has 40 people in it. I'm grateful to all of you. If we were to look in these live streams talking about the gender war, though, 1,200 people in there. 1,200 people. And the closest thing, and you all can let me know if I'm wrong, the closest thing I see on the financial side with regards to having 1,200 people is Earn Your Leisure. And we've seen some of the issues with some of the advice that is coming out of that platform. And it's my understanding that it's not all bad. I would not say that Earn Your Leisure is totally bad. I don't listen to Earn Your Leisure like that. But, ladies, these distractions, I'm going to prove to you tonight that these distractions are going to cost you and your family a minimum of $2 million. That's right. Put 2 million into the chat. I'm going to prove to you tonight that these distractions are going to cost you and your family a minimum of 2 million. We're going to prove it out by numbers. Pink Orchid is here saying the birth decline. Yeah, so I will admit, I like listening to the articles from Bourbon Bougie about the birth decline just because I love sociology. I think it's fascinating. But Bourbon Bougie isn't doing 3-hour live streams about the birth decline. She does 5-minute, maybe 7-minute reading of articles. She does a couple a week talking about the birth decline. So, yeah. Just being nosy saying I see the Middle East conflict happening, but I'm surprised at how unbothered by it. I have my own issues. Yeah, we all have our own issues to worry about. Unless you work for the Pentagon or the State Department, yeah, we're watching. We're aware. We got too much going on over here. I have a friend who loves to talk about distractions. I simply cannot. I'll admit I didn't like the divorce because of the child. Either way, those of us who are on course, stay the course. Please do. These people are going to cost you $2 million minimum, ladies. I'm going to prove the numbers to you tonight. They're going to cost you $2 million if you're running around following these people and their distractions. I'm doing my best to keep my hair moisturized and getting into a master's program sometime next year. Either way, I don't know. Any of the people in real life, I simply cannot be concerned. You can't. You can't. I look at, I'll admit, I have about 3 or 4 YouTubers that I follow for my gossip. If something happens, I will look at like the first 5 to 10 minutes to get the gist. Most of the time, I pass it by because I don't know these people, but if it's somebody that I do know or I'm hearing a lot about something that I think is interesting, 5, 10 minutes, I'm like, oh, I get the gist of what's happening here. Then I'm gone. People saying she should have stayed married if she finds dating so hard and she clapped back. Well, look, I wouldn't know. You're talking about Tia Mowry. I have no idea, right? Because social media is so monetized, people nowadays feel they need to make those long videos about any and everybody. It's the truth. It's the truth. When the kids come out and say Strawberry husband abused them. Look, she should have been gone. There should have been something happening even before then, Rana. Let me not say what I really want to say about that. Hey, Lenria. I'm mostly disinterested in these distractions. I'm focusing on developing my 5-year plan. I don't want to become stagnant because I was not intentional with my time and energy. That's what I want you to be. Be careful of the distractions. Hey, Blessed. Yeah, $2 million. 2 million. 2 million. It's a lot of money to learn about people who have zero influence in our lives. Exactly. So let's talk. Let's talk about this 2 million. But before I do that, I want to talk about who wants us distracted. So we talked already about the distractions that have come out over the past few weeks. The other big distraction that I do think, before we move on to the next topic, the other big distraction that I do think that you do want to pay attention to is the migrant crisis, the migrants, the migrants coming to our communities, because I do believe that in the next 20 years, 10 to 20 years, they are going to be our biggest competitors for resources. And they have a more cohesive community than we do, let's be real. And when it comes to being able to get jobs, being able to get promotions, being able to get housing. And when I say housing, I mean, not like Section 8 or anything. I mean, just regular putting in an offer in order to buy houses and things like that. I do believe these immigrants are not here to play. I think that they are here to compete. And it's not just the Latinos. The Asians are here to compete. Jewish people are here to compete. There's going to be a subsection of white people who are going to continuously compete. If you are upwardly mobile Black women, I do suggest it's not really distraction. It is something that I do pay attention to. I am paying attention to what's happening with the migrants. And you may say today, well, Cherie, the people who are coming today from the southern border are unskilled labor. And I will say, yes, absolutely right. However, their children may become skilled labor. Their children in the next 10 to 20 years may be competing with you, or their children will definitely be competing with your children. And if you are not putting yourself in a position to recognize what's happening and teach yourself and your kids how to maneuver, you're going to potentially have trouble leveling up. Diamond Dave was talking yesterday about the fact that in some places in the country, if you don't speak Spanish, you can't get a job in certain industries. If you don't speak Spanish and Creole, he was saying, it's hard for you to get a job in the hospitals in Miami and some of these cities. I do think, I wouldn't call that necessarily a distraction, even though it's on my list. I do think that that is the one thing. And Ron is saying Black foreigners will compete too. You're absolutely right. I think that is the one thing as upwardly mobile Black women that you should continuously pay attention to and make sure that your skills, you are either staying up to date or exceeding what those individuals are coming here to do. Yes, look at the DACA students, exactly. And Diamond Dave did a really good job yesterday talking about immigration and all the things that I had known before, and the fact that capitalism wants cheaper labor, which goes to some of the things I'm going to talk about with regards to the distractions. Capitalism wants cheaper labor, and they also want labor who they perceive is going to give more effort than Black people. So we can have a whole additional conversation about that at some other point. But yeah, migrants have always been used to dilute the Black community. Sanctuary cities were created to break up the large Black blocs in the cities. And that's possible, but now, at least in Chicago, they're starting to fight back. I'm seeing that. I don't know. I saw the press conference that they had in Chicago from a couple of days ago. NBC Chicago had it on YouTube. I might break it down, but I might break it down in Zoom just for us behind the wall. So yeah, if you all want to, bwmakingmoney.com, I might do that as a Zoom. Cali changed the law so non-citizens can work for the government. Yes, the government is the number one employer for Black people. 1 in 5 Black people work for the government. Yes, that's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. So in that, we cannot afford these distractions. Farida's in the building. If the content is not about economics or career empowerment, I want no part of it. Stay focused. Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about who wants us distracted. And then what I'm going to do is talk about the $2 million that we're going to lose in our individual households. Every one of you here, including myself, is going to miss out on $2 million being distracted. I'm going to prove that out. I'm going to prove out some of the other things that we're not paying attention to because we're distracted, some of the economic stuff. And then I'm going to drop the link, and I got like one final thing to go over if we have time. Um, let's talk about who wants us distracted. I think, I think it's going to be controversial. I know I have some men who cloud watch me and some men who actually comment, but I do think that some, not all, some Black men want us distracted as upwardly mobile Black women. I do think that. I don't subscribe to hashtag all or any of that, but I do think that some Black men want upwardly mobile Black women distracted. I do. I do. And we have to be honest about that, right? I also think that some Black women want upwardly mobile Black women distracted. I do. There are some Black women out there who don't, they want you to, get ahead a little bit, but not too much, right? They don't want enough of us getting ahead where all of a sudden we start seeing a real shift and change in the community or just in our households. So yeah, both of them, both of them, both men, some Black men and some Black women. Yes, absolutely. Who else wants us distracted? The media. The media wants us distracted. There's this whole thing within the media. If it bleeds, it leads, right? That's a saying that they have within the media. So they're going to show you the craziest stuff you can see. They're going to show you the craziest stuff that's happening. Doesn't mean we shouldn't be aware of the crazy stuff, but we have to balance it out by going outside. We have to balance it out by being amongst people. If you listen to the media, you would think that all white people are racist pricks who hate every Black woman's guts. I'm telling you, that is not the case. You go out, you start networking with people, you start talking to people. Most white people, the super majority of white people are fine. They're cool as long as you're a law-abiding citizen and you're decent. They don't care that you're Black. They don't. But what the media wants to do is they basically want us to hate white people so much and hate Latinos so much and hate Asians so much that when we get out and we start interacting with these individuals and they're coming to us like, yeah, okay, whatever, we lose out on opportunities. That's a distraction, ladies. That's a distraction. I told you all one of my stories that happened. I'll say it for anybody who's new. Everybody, please hit the like button. Please share the live stream because tonight is important. One of the distractions I had, it had to have been the Trayvon Martin era because I remember I was still living in Fairfax at the time, Fairfax, Virginia. And it was all this police animosity, Black people against the police at the time. And I was walking out of Panera, and this police officer was walking in. And for 5 seconds, I had this chill up my spine, like, ugh, to the police. And I was like, what the hell? This police officer didn't do anything to me. And if something happens, he's going to be the first person I'm looking to help me out. And I realized at that moment that I had let the media distract me with some BS. I'm asking you, ladies, to not let the media get one over on you. There's this guy I'm watching right now called Eddie Malouf. He is one of the most he's a guy you would never know. He works behind the scenes, but he does a lot of marketing for some of the big social media influencers that's out there. If you know guys like Pace Morby or Alex Hermosi, like he works with those guys, and he is He's been doing a lot of interviews lately and giving a lot of presentations. And he's talking about the fact that our attention is the greatest currency that's out there. Because when we are paying attention to something else, when we are distracted, we spend money. We spend money on these influencers, right? But the truth is, we're spending money on all sorts of stuff that is not meant to serve us. Rana is right. Black media wants to distract us as well. I used to watch Roland Martin, for example. I had to unsubscribe from him because everything on his channel these days is, and I'm not talking about just being aware of what's happening, it's just all racial stuff. And it's like, come on. We got to be able to also talk about other things as well that's going to uplift us. They don't want to be left behind, but they're going to eat dust. We have to gather as many resources while we can. That is true. That is true. We have to. I remember that in Orlando. Yeah. Naomi saying we don't own mainstream media. This is way above us. Yeah. So we have to protect ourselves in our own minds and the minds of our children and anybody else who is like in the house with us, right? That we have control over. Let's talk about who else wants us distracted. I wanted to actually show you all a book. Let's see here. There is a book called Hooked by a guy named Nir Eyal, How to Build Habit-Forming Products. And you may say, Cherie, why are you showing us this? This book is used by Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, Instagram to get us hooked on social media. This guy wrote this book and he's a behavioral scientist or something like that. I don't know exactly what he is, but he does behavioral stuff. Mainstream media, social media, these social media influencers now, this guy, Eddie Malouf, that I've been telling you about, that I just told you about, who works with Alex Hormozy and Pace Morby and these other influencers, they're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a month trying to hook us, trying to distract us. And the guys, Alex Hormozy and Pace Morby, are at least talking about economic stuff, right? But don't get it twisted. There are other social media influencers out there spending 6 figures a month to give us trash and then get us to buy stuff that we don't need. A whole lot of trash, right? So if you all wanted to read this book to learn about how they actually, this book is all about, like, if you're a small business owner and you want to create a product that gets people to come to it every day. It's like how to make your app or whatever so sticky that people come to it every day. Like, look, this is the book, but you can like read it for the opposite effect as well, right? And we're going to actually look at his other book. His other book here is called Indistractable. Indistractable, we're going to actually go over a little bit tonight as well and talk about some of the lessons that he has within this. But Indistractable is how you, as a upwardly mobile Black woman, and your family, the things that you can do to control all of the distractions that are coming at us. Because the truth, again, is that these distractions, at a minimum, is going to cost you $2 million. If you're married and your husband is distracted, it's going to cost him $2 million. So that's $4 million in your household. If you've got 3 kids, that's another $6 million of distractions that's happening. Right? So we definitely want to be aware of this. But what else is distracting us? Capitalism. Capitalism is distracting us. There's a labor shortage right now, ladies. There's a labor shortage that's happening right now. And a couple of weeks ago, I showed you the Australian CEO who said he wants to see unemployment go up to 50%. And that way people would be grateful for their jobs. Right now, the big companies are, you've got Kaiser nurses on strike. You've got the UPS union work drivers where they just got 170 grand. You've got the screenwriters on strike. You've got the auto workers on strike. You've got the lowest unemployment right now that's happening. And capitalism is looking for a way to get cheaper labor, right? So part of the distraction that's happening right now is that for years, we talked about this on Friday, we talked about the American dream and how the American dream isn't dead. You just can't afford it anymore, right? For years, they've been selling us the American dream. For years, they've been selling us the American dream, and anybody could have the American dream as long as you went to work in a factory or something like that. You could buy a house, you could have 2.5 kids, you could build a nest egg, you could get a pension, you could retire at 65. And all of that has changed right now. Why? Because capitalism wants you to dream of the American dream, but they damn sure don't want you to get too close to it. I said it. Capitalism wants you to dream the American dream, to believe it's possible, to see other people get the American dream. But they don't want too many of us to get close to it. And don't let too many upperly mobile Black women get to it. Don't let that happen. Right? Rana's saying pop culture. Yeah, pop culture is distracting us. Yep, absolutely. Authentic is here. You're listening while studying. Well, look, get those studies in. Get those studies in. Yeah, you deleted Facebook. Government and politicians. Yeah, they're distracting us. Beauty industry. Yeah. Hey, Alonzo, salute. That's like saying he wished people will be sick so they will appreciate medicine. Yeah, look, that it did happen. It did happen. So, ain't no pension. Right. Exactly. Exactly. So, also capitalism. We've been talking for years about the pay gap, right? As Black women, right? Black women compared to white men, you know, we get 70 cents on the dollar. What happens when we start reducing the pay gap? Let's say we don't get one-to-one parity, but can we get an increase of 10 cents? Right? Can we move from 70 cents to 80 cents? That's what upwardly mobile Black women are doing. That gets you closer to financial freedom. But a lot of people want us to be mediocre. A lot of people, some Black men, some Black women, the media, capitalism, they want us to be single mothers with little financial support, little mental support. They want us functional enough to go to work, but foggy enough to not realize our dreams. They want us functional enough to go to work, but foggy enough to not understand financial literacy and how to put our resources to work. They want us functional enough and overpaid enough where we are like, oh, we've got 6 figures. But then we're living paycheck to paycheck and we're not getting ahead. Yeah, that's what they want. They want us obsessed with the gender war. They want us obsessed with the passport bros, et cetera, et cetera. That's what they're looking for. That's what they're looking for. They're looking to actually keep us from our goals. So I wanted to show this to you ladies really quickly. So on Friday, I did the You Can't Live the American Dream on Average Anymore. And I want to give a shout out to Love and Joy 810 because I was talking about like daycare expenses. And I had read that I had spoken to people who said that daycare was the price of a mortgage, and I couldn't find the data to back it up. So I was like, let me not say that. Let me say $1,200. That's what I kept seeing all over the place. But Love and Joy 810, I really want to thank you, said here to what my commentary on Friday. I agree the American dream is expensive. My husband makes 110 and I make 95K. Our payment for our mortgage is $1,300 a month. We have a mortgage with a fixed rate of 2.75%. We will never sell our home. Ladies, remember this is what I was talking to you about. I was telling you that you've got 45 million millennials that want to buy their first homes, and anybody who has under a 3.5% interest rate probably don't want to sell their houses. So housing prices are not going to go down. They're going to continue to go up, right? Love and Joy also said here we drive older paid for cars, and sometimes even we feel like we aren't making it. So she's got a $200,000 household, and a lot of people feel like this, where it just isn't enough, right? But then she said here, I was so grateful for her saying this. My son is grown and has two kids and they struggle. Daycare is $500 a week. That's $2,000, ladies, $2,000 for daycare. This is why when you have men saying they want to have children, these are the kinds of conversations that you need to have with them. And I'm not scaring anybody from having children. I just want you to select somebody who can financially support you if and when you choose to go down that pathway. Naomi is saying, yes, they push in the music too. They do. They want us to be spenders only, not builders. That is correct. Family and friends are also major culprits. Be careful who you keep in your circle. That is correct. That is correct. So let's talk about the $2 million. How did I come up with the $2 million? Right now, I'm going to show you this article that I found about distractions at work. Okay. So this is from Better Up magazine. How much do distractions cost? 8 effects of lack of focus, right? Because see, distractions are costing us at work, it's costing us in our wealth game, our level up game, etc. So they're saying here it's a brand new workday and your to-do list is growing by the minute. And ladies, there's a difference between a to-do list and being selected for promotable projects. But to be selected for promotable projects, you have to at least take care of the things you were hired for, when you took that job, right? Okay, so lately you've been off your game, you're having a hard time focusing on certain tasks, your anxiety is overwhelming, and you've had trouble making decisions. And ladies, let me tell you, social media, that book that I showed you, Hooked, they talk about all of that. That is a part of the game. That is a part of the game, right? So, poor concentration at work doesn't only mean negatively impacting you, but the rest of your team. It's okay to have moments where you have poor concentration as long as it does not become the norm, right? They're talking about here focus is the key. Um, the 8 effects of lack of focus. Struggle finding the motivation to complete your work. What happens if you can't complete your work that you were assigned? And then they're bringing in labor not only from Mexico, but from India and from Nigeria and places like that. Okay. Number 2, makes easy mistakes that could be preventable or should be preventable. Number 3, has issues with decision making and drawing conclusions. Number 4, submits low quality work and has overall poor performance at work. Number 5, forgets things easily because they have poor working memory. Number 6, lacks physical and mental energy to work and overall tiredness. Number 7, produces poor collaborative work with other team members. This has to do with networking, ladies. And then number 8, has trouble problem solving and thinking clearly on topics. Problem solving is one of the soft skills I'm continuously telling you about. Cherie, why are you talking about this? What does this have to do with the $2 million? Well, let's be real. If you conquer the distractions in your life, if you conquer the distractions on social media, if you are able to focus at work, or if you're doing the same job but you want to start a side hustle and bring in an extra $5,000 a month, and you are focused, you've gotten rid of most of the distractions and you are focused, and you bring in an extra $35,000 a year, $35,000 a year over a 20-year period, and you invest that money at 8% interest, 8% a year, $3,000 a month, 20 years, 8%. That's just investing in the stock market. That's $1.6 million. $1.6 million. So when I said these distractions are costing you $2 million, because some of you ladies in my chat are 20 years old, you're going to work for the next 30 years. When I said these distractions are costing you $2 million, this is what I'm talking about. That's $2 million minimum. Some of you are at 120 today. And if you just went and listened to Tam at Women in Linux and did what she said, you could be at 250, 300 in the next 2 to 5 years. If you just went and listened to, if you wanted to listen to Diamond Dave and learn how to do options and you weren't distracted, you could bring in another $2 million over the next 20 years to 30 years for your family. And that's minimum. That's minimum, ladies. That's not a lot. So when I talked about the American dream and I talked about the fact that you can't afford the American dream and why so many people want to distract us, and capitalism wants to distract us. They want to distract us because they want us to believe we can get the American dream, but they don't want too many of us getting it. Because if we get it, then we would have the freedom to not need them. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have a job. There are people who like to work. They want to work, where they want to work or when they want to work, right? But there's a difference when you have the freedom, ladies. There's the difference. Naomi's saying they're pushing the music too. They do. They do. They want us to be spenders, not builders. We talked about that. MK, yes, daycare is $5,440 a year for my little one. Yeah. Hey, Amethyst, don't worry. You can listen to the replay. I'm glad I'm getting this message right now because I was just thinking how all these people are on YT to distract and serve their own best interests. Yes, absolutely. Muna is saying, check your local church. Thankfully, only pay $500 per month for 2 kids. You are fortunate. You are fortunate, Muna. You are very fortunate. I want to show you a couple of other things the distractions are costing us here. So Yahoo Finance had a couple of other interesting things on their community tab over the past few weeks. Number 1, housing costs. You all know I'm a mortgage loan officer, so I live in this data, right? Housing costs grows for the 40th straight month. Look at this spike. Look at this spike with regards to the year-on-year change for housing cost, ladies. We're so distracted with the gender war and the passport bros and Shirley Strawberry that we're not tackling within our households how to deal with this. But this isn't the only one. Look at this. Mortgage rates remain at a 23-year high. Everybody in the industry is saying they're not going back to 2 to 3% again. Eventually, they may get back to 5%. But right now, I am closing mortgages for people. Most of them are investors, or there are people who have been making enough money over the past several years to be able to afford the adjusted interest rates. Okay? But you can't get there being distracted. I mean, you can, but it's tougher. It's tougher. This came out today. Goldman Sachs revises mortgage rates forecast higher. Now, this is one company, but I'm sure that Goldman Sachs has some very sharp mathematicians that are working on this. Apparently, according to them, the previous forecast at the end of 2023 was 6.6%. The new forecast for mortgage rates are 7.1%. In 2024, the previous forecast that they had was 5.9%. The year end for 2024 is expected to be 6.8%. This surprises me because you all know I said that next year is a presidential year. It wouldn't surprise me if the rates go down, because the oligarchs don't want Trump, so we'll see what happens with regards to this. But they have to bring down mortgage rates in a way where inflation doesn't start to spike up again. So, yeah. Also, now I know this talks about Hispanic home ownership remaining below 50%, but I want you to see Black home ownership. Three primary ways people get wealth in this country. They get it through stocks, owning stocks, which I think less than 50, I think it's 60% of Black people own stock, something like that. I could be wrong. Home ownership is another way we get wealth in this country. And the third way is like strong businesses, real businesses, not just side hustles, right? Even though Hispanic home ownership is below 50%, look at the Black line. Look at the Black line. So we had a super high increase of appreciation over the past 5 years, and the the majority of Black people, over 60% of Black people did not participate. We're not participating in the wealth generators within this country. We're just not. And according to Yahoo, switching jobs doesn't quite pay like it used to. There was a time when, a couple of years ago, everybody was doing the quiet quitting and, all of that stuff. That's about to be over. Capitalism wants to flood the marketplace. They want to flood the marketplace with cheaper labor. You can't afford to be distracted. You can't. So, ladies, if anybody wants to come up, put a 1 in the chat. If you want to come up, put a 1 in the chat and have a conversation with me. Otherwise, I do have a final video that I want to show everybody, and then we're going to head out for our Sunday. But all right, I'm starting to see people wanting to come up, so give me a second and let me put the link in the chat. In the meantime, ladies, give me a like the video, please, for me. You're saying here, those statistics usually don't account for trailers and other unconventional housing. The Latinos sure do own something to live in while I'm surrounded by grown women renters. Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. So right now, I will also tell you, again, y'all know I'm in the mortgage loan business. There are now loans that are being becoming available for people who want to have the little it's not tiny homes, what they call them accessory dwelling units. If you own a main house and you have enough backyard, there are loans now where you'll be able to put those ADU units in the backyard and collect rent from people. So I am going to training next week to learn about those loans and how to actually provide them to my clients. So yeah, but guess what? Guess what? You know who gets the benefit, the financial benefit of that smaller ADU house? It's whoever owns the property. They're going to get the appreciation. They're going to get the rental income, etc. And when rates go down again, people are going to be refinancing. Just, to let you all know, I'm listening to, I listen to a lot of loan officer podcasts, and one of them was saying, this guy's been in the industry for 20 years. If you can survive 2023 and 2024, by 2025, the rates will start coming down again. And whomever is standing in this loan officer business is going to start making a killing. So what I'm trying to do is to get you ladies, you really, if you can afford to buy a home now, you really should look at getting one now, because there's different kinds of rent versus buy analyses. But mostly what happens is, yes, the rates are higher now, but the appreciation that you would lose out on means that that house is going to cost more, a lot more in a couple of years. So that's my rant with regards to that. Tam is in the building, 5% on multifamily and ADU. Yeah, yeah. And guess who's going to be able to participate in that and get that wealth creation, Tam? You know it and I know it. It's investors. It's people who aren't distracted. It's people who aren't distracted. So Rana is in the building. Hello, Rana.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So, I'll just say what I tend to notice. I think the reason why we're distracted, like I agree with you what you're saying, that they just don't want us to rise up
Mm-hmm.
for some reason. And they've seen that Black woman. I'm gonna focus on Black women. Like Black women are getting more serious about who they reproduced with, starting trends that benefits them, decide to go to school and basically just trying to be upperly, I want to say trying, but being upperly mobile,
Mm-hmm.
getting loans to support their business. And they're distracting us because we're not following also mostly the younger one, like the younger generation, because we're not following society's code as they want us, or American society's code as we want to follow. So pretty much this is why that they're attempting to distract. And if you do get distracted, then you'll be behind 10 years or so. And what you say, it will cost like 2 million almost.
That's
So
minimum. Yeah, minimum.
minimum.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's really when I noticed that, it's like, thank God I deleted some stuff to focus on what I'm doing. Like I had to delete Facebook because I want to focus on my studies more.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm doing my best to try and, well, I wouldn't say try, but I'm doing my best to like wean off of Instagram too, because focus on my studies. I don't want to be upperly mobile. So lately I've been going on it less and less because I'm basically focusing on my studies, because I don't have time to think about what this celebrity is doing and what's going on in the world. I know it sounds selfish, but I really don't have the time and energy for it. Right now, I just want to level up, and sometimes you have to delete those around you out. You have to like delete the distractions around you and
Mm-hmm.
just focus. And it's not easy. But the ones who are not the ones who are focused, if you give it like in the next 5 years, you're going to see what they're actually doing once they post it on their social media.
Yeah.
That's what I tend to notice. I mean, the ones who keeps on focusing on what's going on, the gender wars, then they tend to lose. I mean, yes, I saw the gender wars, but for me, I already know what's going on the male side when it comes to gender wars. I already said the woman side of gender wars. The thing is, I mean, if I'm listening to it, I just gotta give it like a few 30 minutes and then I'm gone, because
Yeah.
that's taken away from my time and energy. Because if you not put your energy of your goals and that's it. And some people, I think what you said, or maybe someone said like they just want us to make six figures and we live paycheck to paycheck. That's been happening during the pandemic or pre-pandemic. That's been happening with millennials. Like there's millennials out there who's working six figures, but they live a paycheck to paycheck and they still go to Ross or TJ Maxx and buy their clothing. That does happen. And another thing, I mentioned DACA. Someone in the chat mentioned about they're going to hire non-citizens to work at government work. That happened. I used to work for the state, and I met two people. One is a girl and one is a man. Um, the girl was Hispanic and the man was from Asia, and they were non-citizens working for the state. And those people are our competition. And the man, he was the manager. He was the manager. He was the supervisor.
Yeah. And they're
And the
not here to
girl,
play.
and here's the thing, and this is what I don't, this is what Black women are seeing this or not pay attention. She and the other one, the girl, let's see, she's undocumented. So she's one of those DACA people. So she's not a supervisor, but she works in a higher position. And sometimes I wonder, wait, so what am I doing? And let me tell you something, and Diamond Dade is right. If you're in Miami-Dade, that's the county where Miami is, if you don't speak Spanish, and you're gonna have a hard time working lower tier jobs because you can't work there. They want someone that speaks Spanish. And that's been happening. That's like 10 years ago it's been happening and it's still happening now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if anyone wants to speak, I'll be mute for a moment.
Yeah. Pink Orchid, welcome.
Hi, Cherie. Hi, ladies.
Hey.
Yes, going off of what she was just saying, Renee was just saying, I had came up because I wanted to speak about the migrants because I wasn't noticing it at first, but now I'm noticing it more and more. They really are trying to have us distracted, especially not just the migrants, but also first generationers as well. I had commented under a previous video. I was noticing more and more Latinos on the train going to the airport, and of course they will have, I recognize the companies. Some of those companies are food production companies that mostly Black women have worked for, and I don't believe they understand that they're about to be displaced,
Mm-hmm.
especially for the jobs in the airport that aren't directly in the airport, but they're affiliated with the airport, like food production and the cleaning companies. I'm seeing more of them on the train. And I saw two police officers at MARTA. MARTA's the transportation in Atlanta, by the way, the public transportation. I saw two police officers who were Latinos, and I'm starting to notice how the homelessness has gone down drastically in the trains and the bus services because of these new Latino police officers. And also in the neighborhoods, there are more of them in the neighborhoods, not just migrants, but the first generationers. And I'm just wondering, I'm thinking this is my own personal conspiracy theory. Where are the rest of us going to be moving because they're taking over the lower income Black areas. Someone said Chicago, but it's
Mm-hmm.
happening in Atlanta as well. And I'm wondering, are they going to put us? I really do believe they're going to put us in rural areas that no one wants to be, like the low income individuals, because they're taking over.
So I have something controversial to say, and maybe I shouldn't say it, but I guess I will. So, huh, we have been, as Black people, we've been getting complacent. I'm serious. We've been complacent for a while, right? Um, yes, it is hard to be upwardly mobile, but if depending on the age of the women who had those food service jobs in, you know, that have been displaced, if they were below the age of 40, it's kind of like shame on you. I know it's a mean thing to say, but from 1970 to 2000 and let's say 10, we as Black people did have a chance to, and our families did have a chance to be upwardly mobile. Um, if, and again, this is a mean thing to say, but if we're looking at a 40-year-old Black woman whose job would be to work in food services, I would ask her and question, what other skills do you have that maybe you can take advantage of? Tech sales, I'm always talking about tech sales. Black women have an incredible communication skill set that we're underutilizing. Why are we trying to compete with the migrants? We're not going to win, right? Why are we trying to compete with the migrants and the jobs that they are getting? That it's controversial what I'm saying, but really kind of sitting back and thinking about that. Um, Thinking about the other skills we're going to have. The second thing is part of the reason why people can push impoverished Black people around is because we don't own anything. Impoverished Black people, we don't own anything, and we're not politically cohesive. And that's on us. That's on us. There are houses in the hood that have been 30, 40, $50,000 for years. And people have been living in those houses for years. Or Big Mama left the family those houses and the family didn't pay the taxes on the houses. And then we want to cry and complain. I'm not saying it's everybody's story. I'm not saying it's everybody's fault, but we have seen those stories. So, what's going to happen to those Black women? Either they're going to have to level up their skills because they're not going to beat the migrants. They're just not. Either they're going to have to level up their skills and go and be competitive in another space, or they are going to get pushed out to, I don't know, if rural areas or, some other part of town or whatever. I don't know. And it's hard. It stings to say these things. It stings to have these kinds of conversations, but it's the truth.
I mean, I agree with you what you said, Miss Sherry, but if you look at the housing crisis right now in the state that I live in, like South Florida is in the center of it. So, but the housing crisis, because rent is expensive. So the Black woman, or should I say Black people who are smart that lives in Miami, they left Miami and moved further north to different counties. But still, right now it's getting hard. And what's going on when it comes to housing, you're going to soon have to compete with them to buy housing. Because right now, housing is getting difficult to purchase in Florida. Because here's the thing. In South Florida, they want someone that is wealthy or affluent that comes from another state or comes from another country. So the most people who are buying properties in Miami are from South America or across the border. And some of them has dual citizenship. And yeah, you will be pushed out if you will be pushed out as a U.S. citizen. The Black woman, I'll say, the Black woman who's smart and left, they already left Miami, or they left to move further north. But you will be pushed out. And I won't forget, like maybe 10 years ago, when I used to work in retail, I met a woman, Black woman was from Miami, and she said she left because it was getting expensive. And this is before like it is right now.
Mhm.
But I just think that they're trying to make Florida into the new California regarding the housing prices. So yeah, but I agree with you. We're not going to win we're not going to win against them unless we know their language. So, I mean, if you want to still work in those jobs, or if you worry about being replaced, then I guess Black women needs to learn their language and make sure and be in an even playing field
Yeah,
if they want to play that.
that's one of the technical skills that
Hmm.
depending on the industry that you're in, we're always talking about technical skills, soft skills, and networks, right? And then getting your resources together. And I always tell you ladies that technical skills is not necessarily technology. It can be technology, but it's not necessarily technology. If in your industry, a technical skill for you to be at the top 10% with regards to skill sets for your industry, if it requires you learning Spanish, then damn it, get off YouTube, get off Facebook, get you some Rosetta Stone, get into some Spanish classes, go take classes at a community college, or you will get left out. And AE is here saying about 2030 not being that far. 2030 is real, ladies. Yes, it's 2023. And I love you all, but if we're still crying on the internet in 2030 saying the migrants are pushing us out, well, we knew that years ago. We knew that
Knowing
years
that we
ago.
knew it, we warned you. That's the thing. Are you going to
Yes.
listen? We knowing that we knew, but other Black women warned you about it. And you can listen, you can choose to listen, you choose not to listen. But I mean, that's one of the reasons why I used to work for the state, because I know Spanish, you know? So if it wasn't for high school Spanish and college Spanish, then I wouldn't, you know, I
Yeah.
wouldn't yeah, I wouldn't work for the state, to be quite frank. Yeah.
So if you know you are not going to be competitive without Spanish, then you better learn it. If you know you're not going to be competitive without Creole, you better learn it, right? Um, this is this is the ultimate fight for resources, and Black women are at a disadvantage because many of us do not have men in the home. You know, many of us do not have husbands in the home, etc. I'm not saying good or bad. I'm not involved in the gender war. I'm just saying that um, other groups of people tend to have spouses and tend to have families where it's not just them going to buy that individual woman going to buy that house, it is the family purchasing that house, husband, wife, you know, mom, dad, etc. And they have their pluses and their minuses, ladies. I don't put these individuals on a pedestal, because if you've ever met them and they trust you enough to tell them what's happening in their own houses, you'd be shocked and you'd be like, well, thank God that ain't me, right? Um, but part of the reason why they are competitive is because it's not just the woman. It's husband, wife, mom, dad, maybe adult children as well, etc. So everybody, every woman listening here needs to figure out what is happening within your industry over the next 5 years, even 2 years, even. What is happening really within your industry, leaving the distractions behind and getting focused on getting to the top 10% of your field, ultra competitive, minimum 200,000. Again, I've said it before. I'm so glad Tam is in here. That look, if you want to get into tech, you go listen to Tam at Women in Linux and say, put me on the path. And she all the time on her YouTube channel is telling you the basic path to 200 to 300,000 within 2 to 5 years. Then she also says, hey, you know, I've got time on my calendar. There are other people online that will help you as well. Like those are the things that we need to be focused on. I know, Cherie, there are things that are happening in the mortgage industry that I'm taking every training possible. I am getting so much data and information. And there's another certification that I've decided to get in order to represent this other product for that accessory dwelling unit. Why? Because I want to be competitive. Because I want to be competitive. But if we let all of this crap distract us, then pretty soon you are going to be looking down the barrel of um, being in a bad financial place. There was a time when six figures, if you can just get to 100,000, if you can just get to 100,000, how many articles out now are saying, I'm at 100,000, I'm at 120,000, I'm at 150,000, I'm still living paycheck to paycheck. It's not going to be enough anymore. And capitalism is bringing in migrants and they're driving down wages. The only way that you're going to be able to keep your wages to go from going down and going up, up, up is for you to be top 10% with your technical skills, with your soft skills, and your multicultural networks. I want to warn people about feeling a certain way about the migrants. I want to warn you to um, not demonize them, not demonize them, because that's dangerous. That's dangerous. But to say, okay, I need to navigate this situation. And at some point, there may be a migrant that actually helps you level up. So one of the worst things that now I'm not look, I am for closing the border. Don't get it twisted. I'm for build the wall, close the border. But if capitalism is saying no, we want them to come in on an individual basis, as long as they're cool with me, I'm cool with them. And you never know, it may be the Latina that helps you get the job that you want and gets you the $40,000 bump, ladies. So just weigh that as well. AE is saying one of the most important reasons for Black Americans to enter tech is because there are security and citizenship requirements that are not applicable to migrants and immigrants and only Black Americans. Yes, so some of that is starting to come down, but there are a lot of places that still require citizenship. And because of the Chinese Americans that were selling trade secrets to the Chinese, I would not be surprised if that starts to tighten up as well. One thing we can say about Black Americans is we're not selling, for the most part, if you are like ADOS, you're not selling American secrets in Africa, whereas these Chinese Americans, they were. So, yeah. There are some Black people making 100K. Many are not. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The median Black salary is 46,000. You're right. You're right. I'm not saying migrants overall are going to help us. I'm saying individual migrants may help you. Individual migrants may help you. I have worked for many years with migrants, with immigrants. I do business with them. They do business with me. I'm not saying the entire immigrant community or migrant community is going to help the Black community. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying on an individual basis. On an individual basis. And what I don't want you to do is shoot yourself in the foot with this migrants won't help us. Therefore, I meet this individual migrant who could help me, and that emits from you. That resentment emits from you, and you just have to be careful with that. And I will stand on that. I will stand on that principle. Rana, anything else you have to say?
No, that's about it. But I do agree with you. Like, you can't demonize the immigrants to come here, or migrants to come here. The only thing is you just have to learn how to navigate and play on the even playing field
Mhm.
and just find a way to move up. And there are going to be migrants or immigrants who will help you. I mean, I have a teacher in college that helped me when I was in college, and she was an immigrant. So, I mean, but at the same
Where was
time,
she
they're
from?
Brazil,
See?
and she was white.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
you can't let that go. And now, depending who I have, let's see now, there's other migrants that helps me, and I'm a first generation American. But to my fellow US citizens, you can't just let that get to you. There's always going to be a foreigner that helps you all the time and try to help you to level you up, so I think that's very important, that you just don't demonize them and understand, like, what is more important to you, leveling up or just be resentful and bitter. And if you
Mhm.
continue to be bitter, then you're going to lose. And I noticed that with Black women who are older than me, like in their 40s and stuff, who decided working the same job for the rest of their lives, but they get angry with foreigners taking their jobs or becoming
Mhm.
managers.
Mhm.
But yet they're the ones who helped me. So it's really,
Yeah.
so yeah.
I want you to stay up because I want to actually play something. There is this book called Indistractable, Rana, and everybody in the chat. And it's written by the same guy that wrote the Hooked book, Nir Ayal. And this is a little 10-minute video. I might not even get to playing it all, but I want to just play some of it for you because his book, and he's done a lot of lectures on this and things like that. You're able to go on YouTube and hear his lectures. His book is all about being indistractable. And again, if we're looking at the fact that being distracted can cost us $2 million plus for ourselves individually, if we're married, it could cost our husband another 2 million, so that's 4 million in the house. If we've got 2 kids, that's another 4 million, so that's $8 million in a household of distractions if we are not careful. So with that, Rana, I'm going to play a little bit of this, and then I would love to get your feedback with regards to what you think.
The 4 basic steps to becoming indistractable starts with mastering the internal triggers. That as much as we like to blame these outside factors, right? The television, the food, the pings and dings on our devices, as much as we like to blame these things, turns out most distraction starts from within us. That the reason we look for distraction is to escape some kind of uncomfortable sensation. Boredom, loneliness, fatigue, uncertainty, stress, anxiety, any of these things, these uncomfortable sensations, we look to escape them with something to take our minds off of that psychological discomfort. So the first step is to learn how to master those internal triggers. And this doesn't matter if the distraction is spending too much time on your phone or eating the wrong things or not exercising when you say you will or not being fully present with your family, whatever the case might be. When it's a distraction, something that pulls you away from what you want to do, that we have to first start with mastering these internal triggers.
Okay, Rana, what did you think of that? I actually really um, like the fact that he started with internally, and there is an uncomfortableness that happens when you first start getting rid of distractions. When you say, okay, I'm not going to be on Facebook. And like you said, you deleted your app, for example, and then you're kind of like, sometimes a lot of people feel like this. I know I felt like this at points, like, oh, but I miss that. I miss that distraction, or the uncomfortableness of the boredom as well. Everybody, please like the video as you all are here as well. Please like the video, everybody. Rana, what do you think of that? What do you think about that?
Well, to be honest, I do miss Facebook and going on it. And there's times when it's tempting for me to reopen it and, start over. And I felt like I miss like connection with others. But if people are not really connecting with me, then what's the point of having it on? And I decided just delete it. It's because, I'm working on my level up journey, and I get to, well, I'm easily distracted with other things. So, but for me, with that internal trigger, something tells me, okay, I will go online, maybe just for 15 minutes on the thing. And then I spend like 20 minutes, or I spend like more minutes than that. So, but I'm glad I deleted it. Right now, like my goal, well, I would say goals with that. I'm just working on spending less time on social media. So I'm good with Facebook, but not Instagram, because that's what I spend time on the most. So, I mean,
And for some people, it's TikTok. I mean, I've heard, so I never really gotten a TikTok, but there are some people I've heard say that they will get on TikTok, scrolling through and spend hours on TikTok. That book Hooked that we talked about initially, like they, and again, Chinese own TikTok, and what they feed us is different from what they're feeding their own people in China, right? So, we have to be aware of that in these distractions as well. And play a little bit more of this video for everybody.
The second step is to understand how to make time for traction. So let me just define what this term means. So the opposite of distraction is not focus. The opposite of distraction, if you look at the etymology of the word, actually the opposite of distraction is traction. So traction and distraction both come from the same Latin root, trahare, which means to pull. And if you look at the last 6 letters of both words, A-C-T-I-O-N, that spells action. So traction is any action that pulls you towards what you want to do, things that you do with intent. And anything can be traction. If you want to spend time on Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp or whatever you want to do with your time, pray, meditate, draw, take a walk, be with your loved one, whatever it might be, that's traction as long as you make time for it. And so the idea here is to not disconnect from our technology completely. That's ridiculous. These tools are wonderful. The idea is to use them on your schedule, not on the technology maker's schedule, not on somebody else's schedule. And the same goes with all sorts of distractions in our life, whether it's our kids can be distractions, our boss can be a distraction, our spouse, the television, the news, lots of things can be distractions. And none of them are necessarily bad unless if you plan to use them on your schedule, not on somebody else's schedule. So how do you do that? You make time for traction. Turns out 2/3 of people don't keep any sort of calendar. Well, how can you call something a distraction if you don't know what it distracted you from? So we have to turn our values into time. So if you value taking care of your personal health, do you have time on your calendar for proper sleep, for prayer, for meditation, for exercise, for good nutrition? Do you have time in your schedule for those things? Then we have to make sure that we make time for our families. Do we have quality time with people we love, our spouse, our significant others, our kids, our friends, right? Do we have regular occurrences with those people who provide us psychological nourishment of these close relationships? We can't, if we don't schedule time for those people in our day, we're not going to give them the time they deserve. And then where most of us spend our time is with work. And so when we think about how most people work these days, it's constantly reacting, right? It's emails and meetings and notifications. They're constantly reacting, and there's no time for reflection. So if your job requires you to think, right, to actually think and strategize and plan, do you have time in your day for those things as well?
Okay. So, he said so much there. I'm not going to play it all. I think one of our Zoom sessions, we're actually going to play this entire thing and talk about it from an upwardly mobile point of view. But um, one of the things that he said in there was within your jobs, if you're not taking the time to think, if you're just reacting, and it got me to thinking about promotable tasks. And we've been talking about that for a while now, that part of the reason why you may not be leveling up in your career is because you're taking non-promotable tasks. those tend to be reactionary tasks versus promotable tasks tend to be the ones where you do have to sit, think, strategize, and do things in order to push the ball forward within the organization. So I thought that was really great. He also talked about the opposite of distraction is not focus. The opposite of distraction is traction, which means that you're putting things into action that you want. The things that you that are important to you, you are actually doing. And ladies, we cannot kid ourselves here. If we say we want to get healthier and we are not going to the gym, for example, or not working out. So may not necessarily be going to the gym, but it could be, are you taking a walk? Are you, do you have some videotapes or CDs or DVDs, sorry, where you're working out, or you're on YouTube looking at a workout video and actually doing it on a daily basis. If you're not doing those things, then you're either distracted or you don't want it, right? And just kind of getting yourself into that frame of mind with regards to moving yourself from distraction to action, right? Um, I do feel like, definitely, like I said, I want to do this as one of our Zoom sessions. And I see so many of you saying now that you are either buying the book or you got the book from the library. We may even do a book club about this, because if we are looking um, to break free as upwardly mobile Black women and to get to the top 10% of our careers and then be able to take that money and invest it in such a way that our children's children will be blessed, we have to move from distraction. We have to become indistractable, as this book is saying. Brian Washington, I don't know who you are, but sir, you are in the wrong chat. Sir, thank you. You're in the wrong chat. Please be gone. Or say something helpful, right? Thank you very much. Okay, so Rana, anything else that you are thinking with regards to what was just said? If you're speaking, you're on mute, Rana. Lady in Mauve is saying, no. Authentic. Authentic is saying, I think the right distractions are okay, but avoid becoming overstimulated. The main focus should be continuous growth. I believe in that. Samory's saying, I use Google Calendar all the time. It's great for keeping things organized. And Rana's saying she has to go. Okay, great. Well, like I said, I wanted to just share that information with you. We are going to do a deeper dive into Indistractable, because this is where we need to be in the final 3 months of 2023 and throughout 2024 in order to really, really level up, is this idea of being indistractable. It is, even though there's so much happening on Black YouTube, Black TikTok, etc., understanding that capitalism wants us distracted, that the media wants us distracted, that there are some Black men and some Black women, not all, but some, who definitely want us distracted so that they can enrich themselves, so that they can say, well, the American dream is possible. Look at all these other people getting the dream, but you don't have it. And why not? So we definitely want to, again, get to a point where we are making really good money. We have great financial literacy, and then we're able to take a portion of that money and invest it in such a way that we can live the American dream as well. Universe Trip.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay.
Is anything in the background, is YouTube up or something like that?
Hold on. Let me. Okay, is it better now? I don't have.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have
Hello? Yes.
YouTube. Okay. I don't have YouTube up, but I had the speaker. I had my phone hooked up to a speaker.
Okay, hold on a second. Everybody, I got rid of Brian Washington. He was being disruptive, and we don't need that over here. So go ahead, Universe Trip.
Yeah, I really enjoy your content. I
Thank you.
also live in the DMV area. I think I heard in one of your videos that you provide hard money loans in
I
that.
do.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Thank you.
I had to use a hard money loan to get started in real estate. So I have several rental properties in Baltimore.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to get out of it now, but it was a good starter.
Oh, then you and I should talk on the back end then. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I will try to reach out to you.
Uh-huh.
Okay. But I just wanted to say, as far as this conversation about distraction goes, I really don't think Black women understand how valuable our attention is. I would say a lot of people have gotten very wealthy off of our attention, and oftentimes they will, well, anybody, I mean, they know that, if you can make a Black woman angry, if you can say something that will offend or trigger or shock, then a bunch of Black women will probably rush to, said incident or debacle, and they'll be able to monetize all of that traffic, all of that attention. So I think this is a really important conversation, and I'm often left with, just like thinking about ways in which we could just leverage our own attention to build ourselves up instead of making everyone else wealthy and rich, because they line their pockets with our behavior, our actions, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I honestly, I don't know if Black women overall will ever come to our side of this distraction, discussion. But if we at least recognize it and say, okay, we know the game over here, and we're not going to let these things distract us, then I think that's level one, and that's what I want to talk about over here and provide context. But yes, there are people who recognize that Black attention gets them noticed. We had the conversation months ago about Grant Cardone. And when Grant Cardone wanted to get more attention, he did what? He started trying to get the attention of Black people. Let's just say that. Making it rain, having rap music videos about him, etc. So people will use us, use our culture, use our emotions in order to profit. And then as soon as they profit, what do? They go back to whatever culture that they're coming from. This happens.
Absolutely. There's just a lot of extraction, right? Like just so much extraction going on from our community.
And Ebony is doing the same thing. Ebony K. Williams. I mean, look, in my opinion, and just in case our lawyers are watching, Ebony is doing the same thing, right? So people are like, oh, I need to promote this. I want to do this. I want to get more visible with this. What do I do? Well, let me stir up the Black community. And Pearl was another we call it, example of this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
But we have to again recognize that, like you said, and I've said it, and this other guy, Eddie Malouf, he wasn't necessarily talking about Black attention. He was just talking about attention overall. Attention is currency these days. If you get enough people to pay attention to you, you can basically write 7-figure checks every month, and that's what people are trying to do.
Absolutely. I mean, I hope many, many more of us catch on to the game. Yeah, because as much attention as we garner, I mean, we could be using that to build ourselves up, like Ebony's strategy was it was definitely problematic because that's just bad advice. You know, like that was it's just horrible advice. Yeah, like chase these black men, hurry up and chase. And I mean that now you talk about a distraction, right? Yeah, but who knows?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think we know. And I think that we need to do things differently. Now, some of the distractions, and this guy that wrote this Indistractable book, he's right. Some of it is internal. Some of it is like the internal things that we're doing to distract ourselves as well. And then some of it is the external stuff that is coming to us, and we become overstimulated, and then we're not able to focus enough in order to make real moves in our lives, real money moves, real career moves, real investment moves, real financial moves. That is why a lot of wealthy people, they will have a certain amount of time that their kids are able to be on social media and using technology, and then they get them off of it, right? They send their kids to schools that don't allow them to have a lot of, Facebook and Instagram and all of that in the classroom, even though they want to feed us that 24/7. And we need to take a step back as upwardly mobile Black women and ask, why are they doing that, and what can we learn from it? And is there a way for us to position our kids so that they can continue to be successful? Because I do believe if any person is not able to focus, it's going to cost you millions of dollars in income and in wealth. At a minimum, 2 million. My $2 million number. I honestly believe that.
I do too. You know, this conversation that you've started about distraction is making me think of this Toni Morrison quote. Do you know that one? Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up.
Okay.
It says the very serious function of racism is distraction. It keeps you from doing your work. It keeps you explaining over and over again your reason for being. Somebody says you have no language and you spend 20 years proving that you do. Somebody says your head isn't shaped properly, so you have scientists working on the fact that it is. Somebody says you have no art, so you dredge that up. Somebody says you have no kingdom, so you dredge that up. None of this is necessary. There will always be one more thing. And I think this focus that you have on finance and economics is really what will kind of make any type of positive fundamental change for Black people as a whole, Black women, Black,
Mm-hmm.
the diaspora, because it when you think about distractions, like you're talking about like these social media distractions. Toni Morrison is talking about racism, and this might be a little, this might ruffle some feathers, but I would also say that many of the dialogues around social justice is a distraction as well. And I think
Amen.
because
Amen.
because it's like honestly, if we change that word social to economic, like if we decided as a people, let's focus on economic justice. Now listen, the social justice will fall in place. You know what I'm saying? Like so
Or just reparations,
mhm, mhm,
and getting Black people riled up about reparations. And look, I'm ADOS both sides of my family. I do believe that Black people deserve reparations. I also have said on this channel, you got a 5% chance of getting reparations. Okay, great. What about us going after resources?
mhm,
There
mhm,
are programs that are already out there that, if they were promoted in the Black community, could get us leveled up. NACA being the housing program, where they will give you a down payment for your house. That can get you at least leveled up
mhm.
in order to get into home ownership. There's all sorts of programs that are out there beyond Goldman Sachs, there's the Black Chamber of Commerce has a program where they're putting, tens of thousands of dollars into people. And it was a Ukrainian that came to me and asked me to help him write his business plan because the Black Chamber of Commerce was connected with the SBA giving out $250,000 loans. And a Ukrainian is in the Black Chamber of Commerce getting all the resources. So if we had a true focus, like you said, on economic, I won't even say justice, just economics, period,
Yep.
right?
Period.
And we just use the resources that we can tap into that's already out there. You also have Black women blockchain council. Blockchain is going to be a huge industry. And this company Consensus gave this group, Black Women Blockchain Council, they gave you this program where if you can learn how to code in Solidity and a couple of other things, these are $200,000 to $300,000 jobs.
Yeah.
And you can get in for, I think it's $25. Like but then you have to be not distracted, focused, or in action enough to be actually able to go through the course and then network your way so that you're able to get those opportunities. So, like we could have literally a 24-hour session of all of the programs and opportunities that are out there, and we're just being distracted from our economics is the truth.
Absolutely. And that, there are a lot of people invested in this, invested in distracting us because they get to profit. They get to extract all the wealth that we create from us, Black people, Black women. They get to hoard it and keep it for themselves while we are left with nothing, begging other communities for jobs, begging other communities for resources. So, I hope, thank you. I just want to say thank you for your channel. I just started to recently watching your content more often. You're keep going. Keep going. And yeah, I'm gonna should I email you about
you can email me bwmakingmoney@gmail.com.
Okay.
bwmakingmoney@gmail.com, and we can definitely have a conversation about the hard money. I want to hear your experience on Baltimore because I know people who have property there. And look, whenever somebody comes to me and says they want to invest in Baltimore, they see the dollar signs are cheaper. I tell them the pluses and the minuses based on what I've heard and seen and personally experienced.
Well, where are you
people.
from? Are you from the DC metro area?
I live, well, I won't say exactly where I live, but yeah, I network all the time in the Metro DC area. I'll tell you, when we get on the phone, I'll tell you where I, live.
Is it okay? Is it okay? You live in Maryland, right? Or
yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. That's enough. Yeah. Me too. I'm living in Maryland too. And I'll just say this, I've lived in New Jersey and New York for school mostly. And I've lived in other parts of the world, and I am convinced, I left Maryland for 10 years. I'm convinced that this is one of the best places to be Black in the country.
I agree. I agree.
We have so many Black people just doing well. They own property. They're engaged in local and in national politics. They own businesses. I don't know. It's not like that. I lived in upstate New York and New York City. It's just really not like that up there. I felt so vulnerable as a Black person because I don't even think it was conscious. I don't think people treated me unfairly or with racism consciously. I just think that so few Black people own anything up there and control anything that subconsciously everybody knows that, okay, if I mistreat this person, there will be no consequence. And I just think in the DMV area, it's not really like that.
It's a little bit different. Because you have a lot of Black people who work very prestigious jobs in the White House, in the Pentagon, State Department, IRS, every aspect of federal government. So Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well, thank you. Keep
you are
going.
welcome. Yeah, just send me an email and we'll connect by phone.
Oh, and just one more question. Sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
So you just you mentioned that blockchain program, right?
Yes.
I don't remember which. I remember hearing you mention that, but I can't remember which video. It wasn't in this one, right?
It wasn't in this one. I can't remember. I
Okay.
say so much, but the group is Black Women Blockchain Council.
Okay. All right.
And if you Google that, it'll be the first one that comes up. And a woman named Olayinka runs it. And one of our other ladies in BWMM is also participating in that. And she was saying that not only do you get the courses, but they also have office hours for if you need assistance as you're taking the courses. So look, let me say this to all of my ladies here. There's a lot of resources for anybody who wants to be upwardly mobile. That is why when Pink Orchid came up and asked about the migrants and Black women getting pushed out of food services and what do I think? And this is not against Pink Orchid or any of the women getting pushed out. My question is, why are you still in that position? Unless you're a 60-year-old woman and you grew up in a different time, that is totally different. But under 40, there are too many resources that are available to us. And you all know I've been saying DEI and affirmative action is going away. Whatever you want to take it now, because there will come a point where any programs that are targeted to Black women specifically, it would not surprise me if the Supreme Court starts voting against these specific programs for Black women or for Black people. So take it now, take it now, take it now before it's too late.
Well, I'm going to dig into that. I'm going to look up that organization you
Yeah.
mentioned and try to get into that class. And then I will email you as well. And I
Definitely.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Thank you so much.
All righty. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, ladies. Well, it is officially 7 o'clock on the East Coast, and I've been here for 2 hours, so I'm going to head out. Remember, be indistractable. Thank you for Tam being in here, AE, Rana in the building, Universe Trip came on, Amethyst is here, all of you being here, Samri, etc. Don't forget to hit the like button on your way out. Share this stream with a friend because this is so important for us as upwardly mobile Black women to not get distracted. Pink Orchid, thank you so much as well. You're saying you agree you have to get out of these industries. We do. There's way too many resources. TAM is like a direct resource to people. If you want to get into tech, if you want to get into medicine, there's Mokomami, there's other resources. You want to get into mortgages. There are people who make $200,000 to $400,000 a year doing mortgages. I can talk to you about it, point you in the right direction, let you know certain things. There's just way too much opportunity. Way too much opportunity, ladies. All right, ladies. Well, I hope you all have a wonderful week. And I will see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye.